Hey everyone, welcome to Coaching Just Lives. So glad you can join us this week. Now, if you're new to our channel, don't remember to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell to stay tuned with all the latest videos that we have for you. Now, in this video, I'm really excited to share with you our new launch, what we call the Coaching Changes Lives Book Club or CCL Book Club. Really excited to share with you because many of you have asked me, say, hey Jedi, can you share with us what's the latest book you read and how do I improve as a coach, as a speaker, as a leader? What book should I be reading? Now, this is what I always say, leaders are readers, coaches are leaders, right? And coaches are leaders who read. Now, reading is one thing, but taking and extracting the readings and applying them into our lives, into our work, into our profession, it's going to be critical. Many people have asked me, Jedi, it's been a while since I finished the entire book. My question to them is this. Are you reading the book just for leisure or are you reading a book with intention? If you're reading a book with intention, hoping to see something, hoping to draw something up for you and for your own personal development, that is the right step forward. Okay, so now if you'd like to join us in our CCL book club, we have a special link just below where you can join us in our WhatsApp broadcast channel where we will share with you our latest book that we're reading. You can join us also on our Facebook page as well under Coaching Changes Life. Just hit the like button or Instagram account as well. Follow us there because every single month we look at a different new book. Now, if there are more people who are following us as well, and if you like more of this, we may even do once every 2 weeks or once every week as well. My encouragement to all coaches is this, that read one book a week. So 52 books you will be able to cover in 1 year, right? An average CEO reads about 52 books a year, so one book every single week. So I encourage you to, if for a start, maybe once a month, right? At least you have 12 books by the end of the month. And you're wondering what books to read. Well, do remember check out our reading list as well on Coaching Jesus Live's Facebook page. We will share with you our reading list for the month and you can go and purchase them and read along with us as we expound and we unravel what all these things mean. Now today, our very first book that we're going to explore is this book called If I Understood You, Would I Have This Look on My Face? My Adventures in Art and Science of Relating and Communicating by Alan Elver. It's a fantastic book to start off with because I believe that in this book, we can begin to glean some of the beautiful essence from the author here. Now, I always like to bring in relevance to what the book is saying and also to the coaching process and the leadership process. So in this book, I found a few competencies that really relates to us, and these are the competencies that begin to relate to us in this book. There's competency number 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, which is number 3, incorporating the learnings into our coaching journey. Number 3, it says is establishing trust and intimacy with the client. Number 4, coaching presence. Number 5, active listening. Number 6, powerful questioning. Number 7, direct communication. And number 8, creating awareness. So what do we mean by all this? Well, one of the concepts is this. In the book, it says relating, it's not the icing, but the cake. So if you think about the cake itself, the cake has the icings, all the toppings, the fudge, and all the amazing strawberries on the inside. But it's not the icing. In fact, it's the cake. It's the essence of the entire thing. So relating is the essence of it's the essence of conversation. So how are we relating to others in a conversation? Are we listening to who they are? Are we paying attention to their body language? Are we connected to the questions they ask? Are we listening to the assumptions? Being able to relate to others is about being so aware about them that even when our back is facing them, we are still observing and being mindful of their actions, tonality, body language, word pattern, and subtle non-verbal cues. It's about listening actively and responding accordingly. Now, one of the key concepts here is that relating, many people think that it's just, relationship is easy, relating to others is an easy thing. No, it's not. In fact, I believe that schools should be teaching more on relationship. Schools should have modules and multiple modules on relating with other people, the social aspect of life. Schools should not be a place just for academia. No, schools should be a place for people to really understand how to create connection with people. You know what? Many people are book smart, but they are not social smart. There's a lack of social intelligence. Now, this didn't happen many centuries ago when there was no schools. With the advent of schools, come a decrease in social skills. And many people think that relating with another person is just a topping, right? All the different content is more important than the topping. No, relating to another person is the quintessential skill as a leader, as a coach, as a speaker. If as a coach, as a speaker, as a leader, you're there to show how smart you are, you lose the audience. You lose the client. I'm not the guru there. I'm not the one who's going to show off how good I am. No, I'm not there to profess my knowledge. I'm also not there to impress on the person. I'm also not there to impress upon the person. Now, that's the last thing you want. Impressing upon the person still makes you look higher than the person. No, I'm there to really create a connection, a deep connection with another human being. We are both on the same level, not one higher than the other. Okay, so that's going to be important. Now, another thing that's really interesting in this book, it says here, leaderless sync. Leaderless sync. So Yuri Alon, along with Leonio and Erez Dekel at the Wisman Institute of Science, worked out a method to test how well people could mirror one another, and adapted the mirror game and found that participants showed better precision and performance when there is no designated leader than when the leader is designated. They were more in sync and mirrored each other better when there was no leader. And synchronity brings us together. So really interesting, this mirror game, right? We often think that we need a leader in every single setting. And what's the purpose of a leader? Do we need a leader for every single thing? Or when would a leader be useful? When would they not be useful? But what we found here is that leaderless synchronity can happen just by mirroring. And sometimes even in a group, when people come together, is there a need for a leader? Sometimes as a group, we can move together even without a leader. There can be a group leadership, it can be group movement as well, right? Sometimes in this notion of movement, there's no one leader, but is it possible to have synchronity? Yes, it's possible. So very interesting concept that, hey, what we thought that having a leader could move things better, but sometimes having a leader might impede things. My challenge to us in leadership today is this. Is leadership prevalent or evident, or is leadership useful in all contexts? Or are there contexts where if you have a leader, it actually diminishes the impact of what it's trying to achieve? What is leadership at its core? Do we need leaders for every single situation? Or how do we actually manage groups? How do we manage teams? When do teams and groups not require a leader? When do they require a leader? How do we know that? How do we move forward? Now, I ask you to consider this just for a while. If you're a leader, a coach, a speaker, consider this. How and when is leadership useful? And do you agree with what you just read about leadership synchronity, where sometimes designating a leader might be less powerful than actually having no leader at all? What are your thoughts? Share with us in the comment section below. Next, something really interesting here. The parallel between going into the unknown in an improvisation and going into the unknown in science. That is really interesting by Yuri Alon. I love this quote a lot. And because this ties into very nicely to the next part of listening from the boardroom to the bedroom. Listening from the boardroom to the bedroom. Now, Daniel Goleman talks about emotional intelligence, and he says having that instantaneous primal awareness of another's inner state, that's empathy. Grasping their feelings and thoughts, that's theory of mind. Understanding as well. Paying deliberate attention to what the other party is thinking of, being aware of our emotions, being good at reading our emotions, and at the same time reading the emotions of another person, and then being able to regulate those emotions. So really in the process of this, what we do in the boardroom, what we do in the bedroom is the same thing. Ability to connect others through empathy. Helping others to feel that, hey, we're acknowledging their feelings as well. And this ties in really nicely in the coaching process as well. Do we show empathy with our clients? Do we have unconditional positive regard on the clients? Or are we emotionalists? We're not even connected to our own emotional regulation. Now, what happens if you have a client that you don't like? What happens if you have a client that maybe steps on the wrong foot of you? What happens if you have a client who may not have the same mindset or philosophy as you, and it seems to irritate you? Are you aware of this? Are you aware that you're being irritated by them? Are you aware of that? How do you regulate your emotions as well? Now, my challenge to coaches is this. Coaches should be the most flexible creatures on planet Earth. Now, that doesn't mean that we agree with every single thing. No, in fact, we respect and honor our clients for their own worldview, for their own philosophy. We have our own, but we show them unconditional positive regard. We acknowledge them. We love them for who they are. We love them for who they are, but we may not agree with the actions that they take. That's a separate, different issue altogether. Never merge the actions of the person and the love of the person or the person himself. The people, we often hear this, people are not the actions. People are what they believe in, and the outcome of their belief and the behaviors and alignment produces action. So we can correct the behaviors if the behavior is not right? But what we need to begin first to do is that while we are correcting the behaviors, we also need to correct the internal side of people. In recent news, we find a lot of really smart people doing really silly things. Why is that so? Why are there many smart people doing unethical things as well? Why do they do that? It's not the learnings, it's not the behaviors. It has something to do with the personhood, helping them to find deeper awareness and clarity. And my challenge to schools and institutions is this. How often, how much time do you advocate, do you spend and set aside for morals, for ethics, for values, for principles, for discussions of philosophy? How much time do you spend there? 5%? 10%? If you spend anything less than 50%, you have given the students the greatest disfavor of their life. Learning information will not change lives. Inward transformation changes lives. And inward transformation begins first with having a dialogue about their own personal philosophy, understanding the ethics, understanding their morals, understanding what their beliefs and values are. That is so critical in the coaching process, right? It's not about trying to rush through saying that these are the different steps you need to do. No, before that happens, always the person. It's not trying to be a full solution-focused approach, but a person-focused approach. The person in front of us is more important. So my challenge to institutions, to classes, to coaches, to leadership, to speakers as well, how much time are you devoting to the personhood than the doinghood? How much time are you focused on the doing than the being? Why are we so focused on doing today than being? Why are we turning that opposite? We do first, then we be, then do. So my challenge to all of us is to think about this more deeply. How do we change lives? If you are politicians as well, how do you craft policies that really shows up the organization, the societal values, then about trying to achieve the next highest GDP? Because guess what? GDP may shoot up, but GDP runs on the heels of morality, ethics, values, and principles. If your society has great GDP year on year and year, but the people are disastrous, that's not a true riches. True riches is not in just monetary wealth, GDP per capita, but I love what Bhutan, the Bhutanians have this, right? They say they also have a gross happiness index, how happy the people are. I think that's beautiful. I think we need to fundamentally relook at the way we govern our countries, the way we govern nations today, right? Not with the principles of the past. When was the last time we relooked at the economics of things? Because economy or economics has very little to do with just monetary sense. It has more to do with the person sense. If the entire economy is just producing a lot of high output with a lot of revenue, but very little regard of the people, the society at large will crumble and implode in and of itself. You may achieve certain milestones, but time will show, time will tell that you may have public success, but private failure. You may have public success from a country point of view. Everybody loves your country, but the people in their countries are suffering. Have we seen that happen? Yes, we have. So looking at the institution point of view, looking at the country point of view, to the organization point of view, to the family unit, to the individual unit, how are we looking at all these different levels? How are we applying all this across all these layers? Think about that in this conversation. Now, let me read to you another thing is this. How do we apply all these learnings in our everyday lives? Well, for one, we can try in our everyday communication is being curious about the things that we're ignorant about, creating shared experiences and ensuring that both parties feel comfortable, listening to the whole of the party and to the whole of the other party, pretending play and creative, and the yes method, right? Just acknowledging, yes, I understand that, right? Yes, I may not agree with that, but it's okay, right? Checking in with another. So to flow, to be in sync, to be dancing in our conversations every single day will be very powerful. To flow, to dance is really important. So really, the art and science of relationship and communication is about being moving with the person, no sense of judgment, acknowledging them with empathy, and having this curiosity to learn more. My challenge to you is this, right? If there's one message on the leaf to you from this book is always begin first with the person, then with the outcome. The person matters more. The person matters more than the outcome. Relationship matters more than just the organization outcome. I give an example. I may be slowly growing my organization, slowly growing the revenue year on year, but the last thing that I want is at the expense of the team. My team will be my greatest asset. Not the organization, not the revenue we can generate, but the team is our greatest asset. Now, what is it for you today? If you read this book, right, I encourage you to get a copy of this book. You can borrow it from the library, get it on Kindle, buy this book, and share with me your thoughts. What are some learnings you're gleaning from there? There are many different other learnings as well. I only share the learnings just down below in the comment section below, and I look forward to engaging with you. And if you post something there, I will be sure to reply to you as well. Now, so I encourage you to join us in our CCL book club, because every single month we come with new book topics that we're going to look at, and we're going to dive in, maybe extracting 1 or 2 points from there, and really help us see how we can use these points in our coaching conversation, in our leadership, in our speaking engagement. If you like this video, do remember to hit the thumbs up, and I'll see you in our next video.